what Ben looked like. And I hate people who are like trying to stare at them. And it's just so. That's just.
I do
not
that when we
magic.
play sometimes.
Yeah, how does it work for you?
Not well. I'm just looking at you. I have nothing. I'm not thinking anything when we're done.
I know that.
As Ben got to play a Curse Spirit and Nimbus Thals at the same time. This game's kind of going south for
Yeah,
Matt.
because we were talking about how he could bounce the Master and then on tap into Nissa, but now there's a Curse Spirit and Nimbus Thals, which could still kill Nissa, or just Matt, basically.
Yeah, Matt's just gonna die very soon here.
And I mean, this seems like a pretty bad matchup for Matt's stack. You know, the pillars didn't seem like they were effective.
All 3/3 flyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he just got another force. Is he playing Sunblade Elf just to?
As like bait?
No, he's got to be playing a Plains, and he just thinks the Twin Grove matters, and the Sunblade Elf doesn't. That has to be it now, right?
Unless he just forgot to take Sunblade out when he switched colors.
I guess that is potentially true.
Either one is possible.
I mean, regardless, like Plains or not, he's not going to be able to beat the flyers. Like, yeah, Nissa and Twin Grove are not actually that good against flyers.
No.
He's getting punished pretty hard here.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's dead. Like, that's just reality.
Now,
I'll say this: if he had guessed over, only one of the Accursed Spirit and Nimbus Thals would be in play, which takes 2 turns to kill Nissa. Matt would be a dog for sure.
Yeah.
But as is, I think Matt is very close to 0% to win this game. And if he had guessed over there,
spoilers.
Yeah, if he had guessed over there, I think he might have a shot. Like, I think his back would be to the wall, but I don't think the game would be over.
Yeah.
Because certainly in that situation, Ben can't just necessarily ignore Nissa. He's only hitting for 3 right now, and the 4/4s are coming out and whatnot. I mean, he could try and ignore Nissa, but it's going to be a close race. And if he starts attacking Nissa, then Matt has a bunch more life and a couple 4/4s.
Especially, if Nissa can survive one attack, making 2 4/4s and gaining like 6 life is a pretty big swing.
Yeah, it's a big swing.
But as is, I actually don't even know if Ben would attack Nissa
no,
at
he
this
wouldn't.
point.
At this point, he can just ignore
He could
Nissa.
just put Matt to 8, play Master Predicaments, and have 10 on the board.
Right.
I think Matt has to play Nissa because he has nothing better to do, but it's not clear that Nissa does anything here.
Right. I'm not even sure if Matt will make a 4/4 or just like untap some forest.
Yeah, I mean, he could play Living Totem. I mean, the Squid going up to a 3/3 and attacking is kind of interesting, but I don't think it quite gets there.
No. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'd like to be like this is a nail biter, but the people at home can see the game, you know. And also, we've been able to see Matt's hand, and it's not like Matt has a bounce spell or has a hunt to win.
Right, like an Aether Spouse waiting for the second blue or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, the Squid is the target for that, at least.
Oh yeah, Matt's done nothing wrong. I mean, he just can't beat all these evasion.
Well,
creatures.
except challenge Ben Friedman.
Well, also possibly having a Sunblade Elf in his deck with no planes.
Oh.
He could have a planes. I'm not saying.
I actually do think the Master Predicaments name got him in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I think he took a risk there, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I didn't like that play. I really did.
I mean, more low-cost cards exist, and decks have more of them, so you're more likely to give them free mana. But I think when you do give them free mana, even if they miss 2 out of 3 times, when they get an extra 5-drop, it's so much more impactful.
And like I said, he already cast so many little things. He has to have 2 more, basically, for it to matter. So I don't know.
So it looks like Ben deciding basically whether he wants to smash Matt or Nissa. I mean, it's not a decision to be taken lightly, but I imagine that Ben is just gonna get in there.
I like this play. If Matt, firstly, I think Matt decided his 4-Ben. If Matt made a 4/4 last turn, I would still attack Matt if I were Ben, but that would make it a much closer decision, right?
Yeah.
Now you know Matt's not even really trying to race you or anything.
Yeah. So Matt has to decide now. His biggest decision is whether he plays out his turn or just concedes and lets Ben take it. I mean, Matt can play some things and maybe Ben doesn't attack, but I can't really see a situation.
He's not even repping Aether Spouts.
Yeah, that would be a little more interesting.
Yeah. That's an important part I was talking about, I think, in one of the last GPs I got to do the commentary was, I'm known for conceding early sometimes, and a lot of pros don't like that, but I know what I can represent. Like, if I can leave up Aether Spouts mana, I won't concede. I'll just leave it up, because some people won't attack at all, and maybe it's not even right for them to attack at all. But then there are games like this where...
I always concede unless I actually have the Aether Spouts, just so you're aware for future reference.
He's just trying to trick people listening so he can get you with the Aether Spouts. But
the last time I had Aether Spouts in Portland, I told Joe Demestro that I had Aether Spouts, and then he attacked me anyway.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
It was pretty great.
My little point being in this situation, Matt can't even represent anything.
Yeah.
Like, what is punishing Ben from attacking? Hunter's ambush? The creatures don't die, you know?
Yep.
Like what percent right now do you think Ben is to attack with the 3 evasion creatures on his next turn?
High 90s.
Like at Matt, not even at me.
Yeah.
Just all 3 at Matt. Is it like 99? Is it 90, 98?
I mean, what Matt could do is make an attack and hope that a Master Predicaments ends up blocking like a 4/4.
Yeah, but he doesn't even have... Oh, just that it blocks a 4. I was like, he doesn't even have a pump spell.
Yeah. Well, if he blocks a 4/4,
yeah,
then we could get something going here.
yeah.
But I think that that's probably not going to happen.
I think that it is highly unlikely
I
that
think
Master
the rat
Predicaments
blo-
will
the-
block anything this
Yeah.
turn. That would be kind of insane with Ben at plenty of life and plenty of chump blockers available.
And Ben, just taking 7 here.
Is Living Totem just a 2/3?
It is just a 2/3.
So, I mean, why wouldn't the rat block the 4/4? Why is it blocking?
Well, the 4/4 has trample, but I think I would put the 1/3 on the 2/3 and then put the rat on the 4/4.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. You just said that because I said it.
I'm very agreeable. Anything you say, I like to agree to.
So, either way, Ben doesn't die to Titanic Growth, and either way, Matt doesn't have Titanic Growth. So unless Ben puts Master Predicaments in the way of something here, actually specifically Forest,
Yeah.
then, and unless he does not attack Nissa, I think Ben Friedman's going to advance to 6-0 here.
Yeah.
And here, Ben, taking a while to think, but it's the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, I'm winning this game, let's just try not to mess it
Well,
up.
because, Matt could just show him double Titanic Growth for the win or something.
Yeah, but with a Trampling Forest, it's going to be tough to avoid no matter
Well,
what.
our block avoids that, right? It's just 1 point short, which is good enough.
Is that true? Because he has the Squid.
Was Ben at 12 or was Ben lower? Because Ben just went to 5, but
He was
said
at 12
before that.
He was at 12. So
Oh,
I think,
I forgot the squid. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault. Yeah, you're not going to block with Master, so you can't beat double Titanic Growth. So then it is what it is.
Ben representing or Matt representing Peel, Ben not taking the bait.
Right, and that's the thing. Aether Spouts really punishes you for attacking.
Yeah.
Peel doesn't actually punish you for attacking there.
Right.
Just Peel guy, they take the rest of the damage and replay it like it is what it is.
Yep. So, looks like welcome back to the booth, and we've got game 1 of David Ochoa against Evan Curtis ready to go here. So we're gonna head down pretty soon there. Hey everyone, welcome back to the booth. I'm Luis Scott Vargas here with Paul Cheon. We're doing coverage of Grand Prix Salt Lake City here. M15 sealed, and we're actually just going to go right into our game. We've got game 1 of David Ochoa against Evan Curtis.
I'm Mashi Scanlon, the guy on the left.
This is Paul Cheon, also known as Hauf.
Join us on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for Magic TV, where we answer the burning questions posed to us by you, the audience, like Chipotle or La Vic, or where do these guys get their hair done?
And also every single week, we're going to be having a special guest from Channel Fireball. like Luis Scott Vargas, Josh Arleyton, Tom Martell, and many others.
With all that and Darksteel Humphrey, we'll see you next Wednesday.
So we've got game one here. So this is our time-shifted match. We've recorded game one already. They're still playing game two, actually, but this is game one. We haven't seen it yet, so we're just doing live commentary on it. Webb's playing, David Ochoa is playing black-white, splash red for a lightning strike, and Evan Curtis is just straight red-white.
Yeah. It looks like David Ochoa is also splashing Blast Fire Bolt just to have additional ways to deal with potential bombs from the opposition.
Yeah, if you don't have anything like Pillar or anything that can kill like a big creature, having Blast Fire Bolt is pretty important.
Yeah. Looking at David Ochoa's deck, he's got some late game power. He definitely has a lot of ways to finish the deck, but he doesn't have like the usual suspects of triplicate spirits or anything along those lines.
In true, David Ochoa style, it's a slightly grindier deck. It's got Boonweaver Giant to go get Spectral Ward.
Yeah.
In fact, both players have Spectral Ward, so we're going to see potentially a mirror here.
Yep.
And it looks like Goblin Kabumas did not blow itself up.
It's
It's living the turn.
So we have a mine, although.
And a Radiant Fountain.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about Radiant Fountain in two-color decks?
If your mana can afford it, if you're mostly single color spells, that actually are single, cost spells, that is not too bad.
Okay.
I'm not sure if in general I would play it, but Evan Curtis 5-0, presumably it has not gotten him yet.
Sure.
Webb following up Oresco Swiftclaw with Witch's Familiar, the classic curve.
Nice aggressive start.
And it looks like Even is going to kill off the Kaboomist.
He's like, shucks. But, you still
got
got two
two mines.
landmines. That's pretty good.
And as you noticed when we were looking over the deck list, that's actually important for a particular reason. He's got Shrapnel Blast.
Yes, it looks like he's got Shrapnel Blast with 2 artifacts and Goblin Kaboomist as his only artifact. So.
Well, he's got ammunition here.
Yeah. It's like Webb drew his third color for his deck.
Yeah. So he's splashing Lightning Strike and Blast Fire Bolt. Evan Curtis is splashing Radiant Pound. Essentially, that's his splash card kind of.
Yeah.
Which is familiar. Untroubled by the Razorfoot Griffin.
The most aggressive, which is familiar.
And Webb does have the Spectral Ward in hand, so he's ready to slam that.
Yeah,
I imagine you want to wait till your opponent taps out, and it actually doesn't stop landmines.
Right. So you don't want to be casting it on your Swiftclaw.
Even though normally that's where you would put it.
Exactly. So it looks like Evan bashing in for 2 and following that up with a Soul Mender.
And even though it doesn't look like he's got Lightning Strike in hand, he's not gonna prompt Webb to play a Spectral Ward here, I don't think. Knowing David, he is very conservative, and I don't think he's going to run it out into potential Lightning Strike mana.
Yeah, with just 3 mana up, it's just too difficult. He's probably just going to run out the Accursed Centaur, or he has a Meteorite. Okay.
Yeah. Presumably dropping a rock onto the rock. And
how does a Meteorite hit a Razorfoot Griffin?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, it has to be very well aimed.
I suppose so.
When we gave Paul the Meteorite in Portland, I told him he could only play it if he made the noise.
Oh my God,
Paul.
What?
Since Paul's not going to do it, the noise is.
No. So I wouldn't do it. So then, anytime I cast it, and obviously Luis could be in the middle of a really, really difficult match, would still look over and just go.
That's the noise a meteor makes. You can just hear it. I don't know if you can cast it without it.
Do you actually know if that's the sound of a meteor?
I assume so.
Yeah, okay.
So Witch's Familiar traded for a landmine and half of a Raise the Alarm that Evan Curtis had there.
Right.
Making the board relatively clear. Like Swiftclaw kind of blanked by both the Raise the Alarm token and the landmine.
This is the exact reason why, like we said before, one toughness creature is not really where you want to be.
Yeah, and Oresco Swiftclaw, a fine card. We saw Paul Rizzo win his match very quickly with it, but it gets blanked by a lot of cards. Yes. Of course, it's actually back into active duty right now since Juggernaut's going to be coming over and Oresco Swiftclaw is presumably going to block it.
Right.
One of the landmines is gone now, so Spectral Ward on the Swiftclaw is a lot more appealing.
Looks like David Ochoa is just going to opt to play the Accursed Centaur. Or sorry, a Cursed Spirit.
A Cursed Centaur is a little bit worse.
A Cursed Centaur is in fact a little bit worse.
So I'm assuming Juggernaut's going to run into Swiftclaw here unless Evan has some kind of plan,
Right.
which he might. I mean, it's possible. Like he could have played Juggernaut the turn he played Soulmender. Instead, he chose to play Soulmender plus Raise the Alarm.
Right, and leave up the landmine.
Yeah, and I think he was also not looking forward to trading Juggernaut for Swiftclaw, but maybe he drew some sort of reason that would make that a little bit better.
Or perhaps you just didn't have too many other plays and you just wanted to.
Yeah, there are only so many turns where you can not cast your 4-drop.
Yeah. Looks like you set that to the side. Is that a Triplicate Spirits?
That
no,
is
that's
the
a
landmine.
That is
Yeah.
a landmine. Okay. So it looks like Juggernaut has no choice but to attack. I'm assuming the Swiftclaw is going to jump right in front of that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid that trade. And there's not much that even punishes you here. If there's a trick, like,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world.
I think at this point, it's also possible, like, David's actually going to start running out of things to do, so he might just go ahead and play that Spectral Ward and try to start racing.
And it's even though Evan has his own Spectral Ward and is, I think, not wanting to play an open mana either,
Right.
at some point when both these players run out of cards to do, yeah, they're just going to be forced to.
Especially because, given that Evan has a landmine in play, if David wants to get the action going, he would have to play the Spectral Ward. He also does technically have a Boonweaver Giant, which a lot of people forget. You can get it
you
out
can
of
get it
anywhere.
back. Yeah,
Yes.
Can you get it out of your opponent's hand?
No, Luis. Whoa.
So I think the reason Webb's going to attack into a landmine, he's got Unearth the Graves here, and he's ready to just go ahead and trade. He's going to unmake back a Cursed Spirit and probably Witch's Familiar at this point.
Just try to get that.
Webb doing his favorite thing ever, which is slow attrition battles.
Yeah. Just Webb does love value,
Yeah.
and it's getting back here. A Witch's Familiar and an Cursed Spirit. All right. All right. So Evan Curtis finally has the opportunity to cast a Spectral Ward here. Flashing into Hushwing Gryph. Webb is now tapped out.
I
so
imagine it
the coast is clear.
goes on the Gryph because it's just your highest power creature.
Yeah, you're just getting in for 4 unblockable every turn. All right, so now Webb is. Now that Evan's also tapped out, it is very likely that Webb's also going to put a Spectral Ward on his on his Witch's Familiar and just start getting in there.
Yeah, the problem is he loses that race to Soulmender plus the Hushwing Gryph.
Right, but I don't think he has a choice.
He could try to wait a turn and put it on a Cursed Spirit instead, but I actually like this better because a Cursed Spirit's already unblockable.
Exactly.
So this gives you 2 unblockable threats.
Yeah, and
essentially.
it looks like getting rid of that landmine was actually very useful because now a Cursed Spirit can also just get in there. He doesn't have to be scared.
He had to grind through it one way or the other.
Yeah.
And if you notice, David Ochoa has been slow rolling Urborg just because he's worried that it might help Evan Curtis. I think it's worth playing Urborg if you have double block spells, if you have Evolving Wilds because it makes it tap right away.
Right, but he just didn't need to have.
But
the
if you don't
Urborg
need to play it, you shouldn't play it.
All right, well, so the race is now on.
It
we
is
have
on.
just 2 unblockable protection from all creatures cards. I guess you could technically block with an artifact creature. That's the only way to stop it.
All right, so it looks like we're settling on an 18 for Evan Curtis, 14 for David Ochoa. And again, with the Soulmender out, even though David's doing 7 a turn, it's really 6 off Soulmender.
And Evan got the first crack.
And Evan got the first, but this still puts Webb, I think, a turn ahead.
So this will put Webb at 10. Evan will go to 11. 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then go up to 12, and then go
Yeah.
to 5.
Right, but I guess it also depends on what Evan has, because Evan can just, if Webb turns both of his creatures sideways,
Yeah, you can just
then,
attack with the
then Evan can just
Soldier,
attack with the
Generator
little
Servant,
Yeah.
potentially even the Soulmender.
Yeah. Looks like Webb drew a blink here.
Yeah, he's on all lands, so this is going to put him in a pretty tough spot.
He's in one of those spots where he still has to attack. He cannot deal with the Hushwing Gryph, and he just has to hope to draw something.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got any main deck Solemn Offerings. He's got multiple on the sideboard. I'm sure he's bringing at least 1 in.
Right.
And
So the question is, do you attack with both of the creatures here?
it puts you on a 2-turn clock, and then you have to draw like a Rotfeaster Maggot, but even then that doesn't get you really out of it.
But the thing is, given that he has nothing, isn't he still on a 2-turn clock if Evan Curtis attacks with everything?
Yes, but I think you leaving a guy back makes it a lot less likely. I think this buys Webb more turns to find potentially some life gain.
Sure. So doesn't look like it looks like Evan forgot to gain life,
It's possible.
or maybe he just said it and didn't tap it.
Yeah. But
I didn't see a change.
Evan
in
also
life.
has Sanctified Charge in hand, so attacking with everything looks a lot better
Yeah,
because that's just lethal.
there's just not a whole lot of weapons
So
to have here.
if you attack with everything and Webb's last card is a removal spell to kill Generator Servant, that still puts Webb down to 1, which is, I think, going to be good enough here.
Yeah, because it'll be 3 plus 4 plus 2, 9 to
Yeah.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the math already. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Random numbers.
I did run the numbers, and my conclusion was attack with everything.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
That's something commonly heard when I'm on Paul's stream.
Yeah. It's basically games where it's a really, really tough decision to make. Luis is not paying attention. He's doing 3 other things, which is what he normally does, and then he turns around and he just goes, "Yeah, whatever. Attack with everything."
I ran the numbers.
Yeah.
In this case, I did run the numbers, and I'm paying attention, and I think you should attack with everything.
Yeah.
So David Ochoa looking to draw maybe a Rot Feast or Maggot. It looks like one of his outs. He does not have Covenant of Blood in his
Looks
deck.
like he drew a Lightning Strike.
Normally a good card. Doesn't
Not
really
gonna
get
do
him
a
out of
lot
this.
here. Yeah.
Especially since now Evan can just cast Sanctified Charge on the Hushwing Griff, essentially, and that alone should probably do it.
That Soul Miner doing some work too.
Yeah. So,
It's funny. Oh no, never mind.
David Ochoa going for a last-ditch attack here. Not a whole lot he could do. Soulmender doing its thing,
Perhaps he's just hoping that Evan just attacks with the Hushwing Griff.
and then Webb can attack next turn and cast Lightning Strike for actually exactly lethal.
Yeah, so Webb trying to put himself in a situation where he keeps a bunch of mana up, makes Evan perhaps play a little too conservatively.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. But given that he's doing this, David.
Well, now gets the Lightning Strike Generator Servant,
Yeah.
and then die to Sanctified Charge. I guess he doesn't want to maybe show it because he just knows he's dead anyway next turn.
Right. All right, so moving on to game 2 after sideboard. Let's see if Webster's got anything in his sideboard for the matchup.
Yeah, like I said before, he's got a Solemn Offering here, but other than that, he doesn't have a ton he can board in.
But given that you see a Spectral Ward, you need to have an answer for that card.
Yeah, especially since David's deck is not particularly fast, so it's not like he's going to end the game before it becomes relevant.
Yeah.
So it looks like we can actually skip shuffling and sideboard and go right into the next game. Some good technology.
Yes. Time shift value.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Tarmogoyf. I think I get the Tarmogoyf? Is that
How do you get to? Why don't I get the Tarmogoyf?
Paul?
Luis.
Paul.
Oh, look! I just know what's coming now.
So it looks like Evan Curtis is mulliganing, but up a game. I'd probably take that. Because I usually just mulligan in them down games. So
Yeah. I don't know. Seems like at least the last Grand Prix, you definitely carried your weight. Oh, man.
and the
And it has begun. It has begun.
So it looks like we're ready to go. 6-card hand here for Evan Curtis.
Oh, mountains, plains, and some creatures. So
So, and interestingly enough, David Ochoa chose to play first. If neither player can deal with Spectral Ward, it makes sense to play first.
right.
If David's deck is kind of grindy, he might want to draw first in general.
It depends. I mean, I was asking this question to Ben, and he was basically saying if you have enough low drop removal,
Yeah, like Lightning Strike, for example.
lightning strikes and forge devils, it might be worthwhile to choose to draw. But given that Webb is black-white and Evan Curtis is a reasonably aggressive red-white deck, falling behind is just not something that you might
Yeah,
want to
especially
do.
if you're planning on getting ahead and trying to race with Spectral Ward.
Exactly.
Paul, the chat has something for you.
What is it? Oh, just more pulse?
I was just saying, Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool. Thank you, though. Thank you for that. All right, so Evan Curtis choosing to attack with Generator Servant and Web
Immediately
blocks.
blocking and then getting Forge Devil, which makes sense.
yeah,
I mean, that's a very reasonable play there. Especially if your Generator Servant's not going to do much else here.
yeah. All right, Webb choosing to play a Carrion Crow.
And getting the alarm has been raised. So Evan Curtis is actually kind of doing a pretty good job. He's going to be able to bash for 3, having gotten rid of a 3/3 blocker already. His deck has Sanctified Charge in it, and I think he might even have it in his hand.
Yeah.
It's putting him in a pretty good spot.
Just a really, really aggressive start. I thought, attacking and just playing a Forge Devil is not all that impressive, but being able to cast a Raise the Alarm there really just put a lot more pressure on David Ochoa.
Yeah, Raise the Alarm does a pretty good job of that. Blast Firebolt not looking spectacular here.
Yeah. So Carrion Crow playing some defense here. So is there a card that's black that could actually deal with the Spectral Ward here for 4 mana? I know Flesh it does, but that requires 5 mana.
Right. Not in response, I don't believe. Ulcerate is actually what we're looking for.
Ah, right. Do you play around Ulcerate though?
I mean, if you don't have a reason to play Spectral Ward, I don't think you would want to.
Right.
If you have any other play, if you have no other plays, it's possible. But if you're under no pressure, it also, you can just wait. I mean, David is not doing anything with his turns either.
Right.
So
David does have a fairly strong late game though. So
yeah, and he did just draw his 5th land, so now he can play. It looks like he can play
Rotfeaster Maggot.
Yeah, or a Vampire or a Nightfire Giant. He's got a lot of 5-drops in his hand.
All right.
The Crow coming in. And
Probably the Rotfeaster Maggot would be my guess. He doesn't have a mountain, so.
And devouring the Generator Serpent, getting less life than if he ate the Gargoyle, but he has Unmake the Graves in his deck.
Right, right. So given that, he wants to be able to get additional value out of that. Although I don't think it's in his hand.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
my assumption is that the extra 2 life might actually be worth making a later Unmake weaker. If you had it in your hand, that's one thing, but if you don't have it in your hand, it might not actually come down to that.
Exactly, especially because you're going against the red-white aggressive Spectral Ward deck.
And
the Webb's hand is full of 5-drops and expensive
yeah,
cards.
something else might go to the graveyard anyway.
But like we said before, David Ochoa loves him some value.
He does not want to turn down value.
He does not like value.
Yeah, Spectral Ward on Forge Devil or Raise the Alarm token, not the most impressive. So, but I think if Evan Curtis had it, I think he would still play it here.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get something going.
So he just didn't play that turn even when he was tapped out?
Yeah, he might not have Spectral Ward in hand.
Oh, I thought we did. We know he has a Sanctified Charge.
It's true.
So David Ochoa draws the Mountain.
So he's got Blast Fire Bolt active against a board full of 1/1s.
Yeah.
Rotfeaster Maggot not coming in though.
I guess given that he's got the Nightfire Giants, he just wants to have it slowly take over the game.
Yeah, and I think he's just going to be dropping a Nightfire Giant here and probably playing a Mountain as well, just so you don't get Lightning Striked.
Right.
And so
playing the Nightfire Giant and go, oh, Mountain, go.
Yeah. And you notice that he did not attack with Rotfeaster Maggot, even though the attack is safe. I think because he's worried that if the Nightfire Giant then got killed, like pillared or something,
right?
Then David would be just taking 4, and I don't think he wants that.
He also doesn't want to be pressured into like having to block with the Nightfire Giant.
Yeah.
So just keeping the Rotfeaster Maggot back
and losing to like a Devouring Light or something like that.
Because if what happens if David Ochoa attacks with the Rotfeaster Maggot, Evan Curtis responds by attacking with 3. There's so many cards that can just kill the Nightfire Giant there.
It actually looks like Evan has Spectral Ward in hand, and it is not playing it. Yeah.
He's just choosing not to do it.
He just does not want to put it on a 1/1. The problem is, do you really have time to draw a higher power creature, play it, have it live, and then play Spectral
Especially
Ward?
with the board the way it is. I think one big thing is the fact that David Ochoa chose to keep Gargoyle Sentinel in his graveyard.
Yeah.
Like signifying that he might have an Unmake the Graves in his hand, meaning putting it on a 1/1 is just not going to do a whole lot.
That's true. And Unmake on the Gargoyle against a 1 when it trades, and against a bigger creature, it still blocks it for a turn.
To be fair, he does have a Sanctified Charge in his hand.
Yeah.
So like even if that was the option, like he
yeah,
needs to get
Sanctified
something
Charge would
going.
bust through it here.
There's just like way too much pressure being put on him now. I don't know if I feel like the first turn that you could have put the Spectral Ward on when Ochoa was tapped out would have made this at least a much closer game. Right now, David's firmly in control.
Yeah, he's choosing to chump with a Forge Devil. Take 2 is going to gain 1 off the Soul Mender, but David's now got Nightfire Giant going, so
he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, this is going to go pretty poorly for Evan unless he has something really quickly.
Well, yeah, because now he has to find a way to kill the Nightfire Giant or force Webb to use it so that he can actually safely land his Special Ward.
And even if he lands Spectral Ward, he actually can't outrace the 3. I mean, Nightfire Giant's a 5/4. It can just attack.
There's Webb has 9 power on the board. Like I said, going through Webb's deck, his deck's got some late game power. It's just surviving.
Yeah, the problem is Spectral Ward is a really bad card to have to survive against because it dodges so much removal.
What do you think he kills here?
The Altac Bloodseeker.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all right.
That's just my keen analysis.
Oh, right. Pro tips.
So, and here you see David, he's winning by enough that he feels like he does not have to attack with Nightfire Giant and risk losing it to Devouring Light or a combat trick or anything.
So it looks like Evan's just going to go for it with the triple block here. But David Ochoa does have a Nightfire Giant activation, but I think Evan is trying to bait the activation so he can
Well, the activation doesn't actually do anything here. He could kill one of the creatures, but then the other two would still first strike down the Rotfield Street. So, I mean, it worked out as well for Evan as it could, but he's still in trouble.
Yeah, he's still very, very behind. He needs a Pillar of Light?
Yeah, if he draws a way to kill the Nightfire Giant, he actually could win this game.
Yeah.
The Nightfire Giant is really what's standing in between him and winning. But he wouldn't be winning right away anyway.
All right, Gargoyle Sentinel for Evan Curtis.
Gargoyle Sentinel is not terrible, especially since it can gain Spectral Ward and just start clocking for 5.
Killing the Soul Mender. Yeah, this is one of those games where, like, I think it still would have been close, even if Evan Curtis was able to stick that Spectral Ward, because had Evan forced Ochoa's hand, then Webb would probably likely just be like attacking with the Nightfire Giant as well, and just trying to put pressure back on Evan. But because he feels like he's so far ahead, he just feels like he doesn't need to be attacking.
Yeah, and I think that if David was in a more losing position, I think he would be more aggressive here.
Right.
But I don't think that he really feels a need to, and I think he's correct. I mean, his hand is full of gas. He's killing a creature every turn, and I think he's in pretty good shape. I mean, again, Spectral Ward's the kind of card that you can lose to, but playing this way also lets him keep Blastfire Bolt up. So even if Spectral Ward tries to land on
the Sentinel,
then Webb gets to cast Blastfire Bolt in response there. So I think that Webb is probably in good shape. I mean, Evan Curtis does have some decent late game stuff that he could draw, but he is, you know, his deck is a lower curve deck. He could draw Shrapnel Blast to get rid of the Giant. He would need to sack his Gargoyle. If he had it right now, that'd be sick.
All right. So it looks like Evan Curtis did pass, and Webb just wants to make the most of his mana and kill the creature that could get Spectral Warded without the Nightfire Giant's help. And also this allows him to start getting in there with the Crow as well.
Yeah, I think it's possible that the Night. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Just like at some point
you just have to not worry about it and just clock your opponent here. Also, I believe that Webb might actually be feeling the fact that, you know, time is a factor eventually. If you're trying to play like 3 long games, then you actually do need to eventually conclude the match.
And even if now Evan has like a Spectral Ward, Webb can just put a Caustic Tar on one of his lands and just like, you know.
It looks like he's going for it.
No. It looks like he's playing Witch's Familiar and leaving on mana.
Yeah, I guess that would be more likely.
And he could also only leaving up all of his plains and mountains because he has an Urborg in play.
Yeah,
might be able to get him if he had a black spell in his hand.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're going to game 3 here, and we might as well just jump right into it.
Yeah.
If we have the technology, we can rebuild it.
All right, you can have the Tarmogoyf this time.
All right.
Yeah.
So game 3 looks like Altac Bloodseeker faced by a Sungrace Pegasus. Generally good for the Pegasus, and Webb's even got the Solemn Offering in hand, ready for the Spectral Ward.
Yeah. Very solid hand for David Ochoa.
So, do you block here is the question, because it becomes dicier to block the Bloodseeker later, because, you know, removal makes it a 4/1 first strike. So David doesn't have anything. It makes sense.
Like we said before, David just wants to get to that late game. So just trading off early is definitely something that he's very interested in. And the thing is, he doesn't even have really any Convoke cards in his deck, so he doesn't need creatures to be alive early.
Yeah, so he places less value on having creatures in play than the average white deck does.
Right. David also drawing a Lightning Strike here, so a lot of ways to get to that late game.
the old 3-color, which is familiar.
Yeah.
That's the David Ochoa we know and love.
Right. Here's the part of that. Now is the tricky part where, because Evan has Spectral Ward in his deck, it's like, let's say David drew like in a Cursed Spirit.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, given the Asylum offering, it's pretty easy. If he
Right.
did not have it, then it would be a lot tougher. Well, here's a Juggernaut. That is a tempting card to cast Solemn Offering on.
He may also just choose to Lightning Strike it.
Yeah, if he has Lightning Strike, I think in general, even though obviously Lightning Strike's a stronger card,
Yeah.
Webb is the type who does not want to lose to a Spectral Ward. Like
Right.
he wants to have answers to all the things his opponent can play. And you haven't actually seen anything that needs Lightning Striking, particularly.
And if he chooses to Lightning Strike now, he can just like, he could also get it for some damage.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 damage is not irrelevant. It's not
Yeah.
a huge difference, but
It's still something.
yeah.
And if that is the line that he wanted to do or wanted to take, then he should probably do it here. Okay. Wow.
Looks like David's going for the Solemn Offering here. His Witch's Familiar demands an offering.
Yeah. And now praying that Evan does not have a Spectral Ward here.
Spectral Ward on the Pegasus is pretty insanely hard to stop.
Yeah.
And we are slamming. Oh, no, that's a Convoke.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, Evan's
No
got a lot-
Spectral Ward, just Triplicate Spirits.
He's got a lot of paths to victory. I mean,
Yeah.
Triplicate Spirits plus the Sanctified Charge we can see in his hand
Yeah.
is also a really big threat. And it looks like Webb does not have a 5th land to play Shadowcloak Vampire, which would be a pretty strong play here.
Although if he did that and chose to block, Evan would likely just cast a Sanctified Charge and get him really good. So it looks
Sure.
like Evan is definitely in the lead in this game here with the Sanctified Charge in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's clocking for a 4, but really a 5-point life swing.
And he
he's
has
got
a Spectral Ward. Jeez.
Yeah, this is turning into a blowout.
Yeah, this is getting out
This
of
is
hand.
now a 9-point life swing.
Yeah. Perhaps Webb wishing that he has the Solemn Offering still in his hand. Because there really is no way for him to beat.
No, I mean,
The-
getting
the
drained
Pegasus.
for 3 every single turn with no hope of stopping it is pretty tough.
All right, so Webb's got only one thing to do now is try to outrace the Essence Drain to the face every turn.
And it's going to be tough. His hand is actually full of cards he can't cast.
Yeah, all he has is a Lightning Strike, so...
Yeah, Lightning Striking a token is not really where you want to be. Sanctified Charge also drains for 5 the turn it's cast.
Yeah.
Just off the Pegasus, without even taking into account the other spirits.
I don't think there's any need to do it this turn, so Evan's just happy enough getting in for 6, another 9-point life swing.
It depends on what his hand is. I mean, if he had other cards he could have cast, then I could see casting those. But if he had absolutely nothing else to do, then maybe he cast Sanctified Charge.
So Webb getting in for 5, but never giving up, never surrendering.
Yeah.
Playing another Witch's
Playing
Familiar.
another Witch's Familiar. Webb's deck does not look insane from
Yeah. He is 5-0, so...
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's got a kind of uphill battle here.
Yeah, now he's just attacking Sanctified Charge. There's nothing you can do for 1 white and a Witch's Familiar up, so... And there it
there's
is,
the
Evan
handshake.
Curtis taking it down.
Yep. Welcome back, everyone. That was the conclusion there of round 6 here, Grand Prix Salt Lake City. With Scott Vargas here with Paul Cheon, and we're just going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with our next round.
All right, welcome back to Grand Prix Salt Lake, presented by Channel Fireball and Cascade Games. We are about to head into round 7. I'm joined here by Ben Stark, and actually the matches are ready, so we're going to head just straight on in. All right, so we have Pro Tour champion Cheon McLaren against Ben Moore, and looks like they're getting ready to start up. I'm assuming mulligans have already been resolved, so Cheon McLaren right off the gates with a mountain.
And he looks like he did mulligan. He has 5 cards in hand, right?
Oh yeah, so it looks like he already mulled the 6. They already resolved all of their mulligans. All right. Ben going ahead and fetching that mountain. So Cheon McLaren, 6-0, winner of the Modern Pro Tour, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
With blue-red-white control, which is a deck that I've favored for a while.
Yeah. I think
as a control mage.
Yeah, I think their lists were a little different, but I think Shahar won Worlds with a similar blue-white-red list.
Yeah, so blue-red-white's actually had a lot of success, but now he's showing that he's got some limited chops as well.
Well, he did top 8 a limited Grand Prix, I believe, in Atlanta towards the end of last year.
Oh, okay. I noticed I see that happen a lot, where people just start, like, you see somebody top 8 a Pro Tour that you never heard of, and then they just keep it going, and they just start having success over the next few tournaments.
Yeah, well, I mean, confidence helps.
Yeah.
And also, the person might just be good, and you haven't heard of them yet, and then after they top 8 the Pro Tour, now you've heard of them.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely what happened a lot of times for, even when, like, Luis Scott Vargas top 8 at Nationals or whatever, you're like, who's this guy? And then after that, he just went on to be one of the best players on the planet.
Just went on to top 8 and win every tournament he ever entered.
Exactly. I'm trying to get used to this Ben playing the old school lands on top of the spells. What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
I hate it. PV does it too.
Does he?
Yeah, it's obnoxious.
Is it like, are you like playing the lands to like protect your creatures?
I have no idea.
Like he's got some islands there, so does it act like a moat? Or?
Yeah, it's like, here, look what my lands do. Yeah, dude, they're lands. It's cool.
All right, so Cheon curving out nicely with a spider into a Courage Chieftain. Ben with no actual answer here, so there's not a whole lot that Ben could have here, I don't think.
No.
Perhaps turn to Frog?
Yeah, but the +2/+2 still happens, right?
Oh, that's true.
I don't think there's anything that he's really afraid of. I mean, it's not like there's no answers in Magic for a 4/4, but at this moment on this board, I don't think McLaren's afraid.
It could be another Lightning Strike.
Yeah.
But Sean's got to be feeling pretty good if Ben's turn 4 play was just an activation of the Research Assistant.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a great start for Cheon.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop, all good cards.
Yeah, and you have one of the best cards in the set in Courage Chieftain here.
Thundering Giant. I mean, the 3-drop and the 4-drop I like a lot. The Netcaster Spider and the Courage Chieftain. The Thundering Giant I'm not a huge fan of. Right. It's a fine 5-drop.
Yeah. Ben following up with his own Courage Chieftain. Not quite as good because Cheon actually has the mana available to pump his guys, and Ben is on the back foot at 10 life.
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about the cards that make you want to draw first because I think most people's inclination is to play. So I always mention how Forge Doubles and Lightning Strikes and things like this are better on the draw.
Right.
But Courage Chieftain is the type of card that's much better on the play.
Yeah, you want to untap and just get in there.
Right. You want to be the one who's not on your back foot because they can't block well when you have a Courage Chieftain.
Yeah. I've there's definitely been games where I'm just like I'm on the defensive and I have a Courage Chieftain. He doesn't do a whole lot.
No, he doesn't do a lot. Right.
Yeah.
There are a few types of cards that really make you want to play first, and Courage Chieftain is one of those.
Yeah. Cheon running the numbers here and now choosing to attack.
4 or 5. So you can only double block the Thundering Giant, I guess.
Yeah, so he can double block the Thundering Giant, he has a total of 7 toughness, so he can't actually kill 2 of them.
Right.
So what I would think he would do is just opt to trade with the Courage Chieftain.
Assuming he has any play from his hand.
Right, and there's just no reason to pump. He can just play another creature, assuming he has something.
If not, I guess there's still no reason to pump. He'll just pump the Courage Chieftain probably.
Right.
Though you do set up a potential blowout from Gather Courage, but since he's probably splashing green, it is unlikely that he's splashing for Gather Courage.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a Stoke the Flame. Wow.
Yeah.
So that did set him up to, I guess, Gather Courage being good, but I guess it would still trade with...
Yeah, it would still trade with the Chieftain. It would be good, but it was going to be good no matter what. It's not like
so Ben going down to 6, and I just can't envision anything here. He could have perhaps an Aether Spouts, but then Cheon can just play around it.
Yeah, this will be a really tough game for Ben to win.
Maybe an Into the Void?
Yeah, but they would just come right back down, including the Thundering Giant.
Yeah, which has got haste,
This is going to be a tough one for Ben to win. The only way I could see him winning maybe is if he stays alive another turn or 2 and then he plays Stormtide Leviathan. That's a card that Red-Green sometimes can't beat.
Yeah.
Or like you said, Aether Spouts could be good.
Right.
Aether Spouts.
So maybe he needs like No, he can't have anything. I guess a lightning strike.
Yeah, well, if he blocked the giant, if he pumps it, he can strike it. If he pumps the chieftain, then he can have something. I don't know.
Okay. So he did have a Titanic growth.
Yeah, now he falls to 2, but the chieftain is gone. And Cheon still has a handful of cards. So like I said, it's going to be a really, really tough game for Ben to win, but it's not impossible.
He's at 2. Wow. Okay. So it looks like he's actually stabilized here. And now Cheon's got to do something.
Yeah.
Would you have pumped the chieftain there, or just gone for it on the Thundering Giant?
Well, you already saw a strike, so you'd have to have second strike.
Yeah.
And you're not really scared of growth or anything, because if he does that, he would just die.
And that's the thing. If you had a lightning strike on the Thundering Giant, the Shaman of Spring still dies, and your Cur Chieftain still lives.
But the only thing is you deal like almost no damage. But that's probably a better scenario.
Just having a chieftain with Ben at 6 life.
Yeah, or he dies, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a better overall scenario.
Right. Playing a Shaman of Spring, hoping to draw a forest here? So that he can play the Llanowar Elf. All right. This was actually really good for Cheon, just because he just wants to, just be able to flood the board, just so he can try to get into those 2 points of damage.
Yeah, this is the problem with stabilizing at 2.
Yeah.
Is like 3 creatures is still lethal. Though I think Ben can muster 2 things here.
Yeah.
Meteoriting away the Shaman and then dropping a 2/3 will still leave him technically stable for the moment.
Right. But also just being at 2 against the red deck is
always
very exactly. Right, so Shaman of Spring goes down, and Yi-San on Ben's side. Didn't Cheon have one as well in his hand?
Maybe.
Yeah. But Legendary World doesn't work the way it used to before. If it did, Ben would actually be dead, because he does have a Ranger's Guile in his hand. Wow. So Cheon does draw a Thundering Giant and has a Ranger's Guile for what's going to be the win. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a good draw.
It was obviously going to be really tough for Ben to win, but I think it was good that you mentioned that, because that one turn was really interesting, right?
Right. What he chose to pump with the Cur Chieftain?
Yeah. If you were looking at a lightning strike, then he made the right play, because he would kill him rather than not. But if he has nothing, you really don't need to kill him there.
You could also just choose to do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Because he blocks the Cur Chieftain with the Shaman of Spring,
you
just deal 4 damage, and
then nothing does 4 because he didn't have Stoke mana available. And if he has Strike, you can't strike out the Chieftain because you have the 5 open.
And then he can just play another creature.
Oh yeah, and he had creatures to play.
He had a Yi-San and an Elvish Mystic.
It's probably the best play.
Yeah.
And then he can keep Ranger's Guile open too. Did he already have Ranger's Guile?
Well, he only had 1 forest, but he did have Ranger's
But he didn't have any play and leave Ranger's Guile open.
Exactly. So, despite that, fortunate draw of Thundering Giant helps him take that game.
And even if not, at no point could Ben have had less creatures than him, or he would have died because of Ranger's Guile.
Yeah. Really interesting spot there. I think maybe if Cheon took a little more time to try to exactly map out what's going on, could have put himself in a better situation. But despite that, still with the win.
Yeah. Still just a great draw, really.
Yeah,
Netcaster into Cur Chieftain into Thundering Giant.
Yeah, really nice, aggressive red-green deck out of Sean McLaren. All right. So, Ben on the blue-red deck. So, what are they looking? What is Ben looking to sideboard in like the traditional blue-red deck against red-green? What do you have?
High toughness ground blockers. You don't always play those because they're not good against flyers, but they're good against red-green creature decks. Bounce spells are usually pretty good against red-green creature decks. Their guys are usually pretty big.
So would you generally a card like Void Snare is not really very good. Would you consider bringing that in?
Yeah, you could consider that. Without seeing any enchantments and seeing that 2 of the 5 drops were Thundering Giants, I probably wouldn't bring it in.
Right.
Obviously, Void Snare is really bad against haste.
Yeah. But if his deck was just like all charging rhinos or whatever,
then you might bring in a Void Snare.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of potent sideboard cards for blue-red in this format, I don't think.
Right.
It feels like mostly green with Plummet and Naturalize that do a lot of sideboarding. White, taking the pillars in and out is sometimes a big deal.
Yeah, it feels like in this matchup for the blue-red to actually have a good chance against like a red-green deck. The red-green deck generally going to have the bigger creatures. You need to kind of win with evasive creatures a lot of the time.
Right. But most likely your flyers are already in your main.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But let's board in some Welkin turns.
Right. So like maybe Void Snare helps with that and stuff, but I don't think you're going to bring it in when you saw Shaman bring double Thundering Giant. That doesn't seem like a good Void Snare matchup.
Not exactly what you want to be doing, but hey. All right. Oh, so for those of you guys just tuning in, we are in round 7 of Grand Prix Salt Lake. I'm Paul Cheon, and I am here joined by Hall of Famer Ben Stark. Sean McLaren, Pro Tour champion, is up 1 game to none, with a very strong red-green deck featuring Kurd Chieftains and several Thundering Giants.
I love how everyone has to say Hall of Fame all the time. It's so great.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. For me, if I know Luis does some of the intros, but if I had to do it both times, I would just mono Hall of Fame. Yeah. Hall of Famer Ben Stark, Hall of Famer Luis Vargas.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm here with this guy Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I only got in the Hall of Fame like a year ago, and I'd been eligible for a long time. So it really meant a lot to me, and it makes you feel good hearing it. Like there's just no way around saying
that. For sure. Definitely jealous.
Well, now that you're back,
We'll see. Yeah. We'll take it one Pro Tour at a time.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start mounting some finishes, but you're a good player, and you're back, and you're working with, one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, looking really forward to it. All right, so Sean with not quite an aggressive start, but wow, it looks like he's splashing black for Stab Wound as well. He's got a really strong hand here. He's got Lightning Strike, Stab Wound, Llanowar Waste for the Black Source, and Gravedigger. He's got like a nice little Jund deck going.
Did he bring in black? I didn't even...
I'm not sure. It feels like, he has the Gravedigger and a Stab Wound.
No, yeah, I mean, I see cards now.
Right.
Last game, was he just red-green, do you think?
It's possible he could have just been black and we just didn't see it. Mm-hmm. Like, splashing a Stab Wound Gravedigger is just fine and sealed.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Given that he has Llanowar Waste and maybe like an Evolving Wilds.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the main things I look for a splash. If I've got a free source like a Llanowar Waste, it's so much easier to splash.
Can you imagine you setting up a Gravedigger eventually? Extra value.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. So Ben, it looks like he switched to blue-green because, just looking at it, I was like, this, perhaps like, blue-red not really matched too well against like the green-red deck.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right.
He was already splashing because he played the Yisan last game, so it was kind of unclear exactly what Ben Moore is playing. And
So now, given that we see Island, Mountain, Forest, and a bunch of he is now on Rug.
Yeah.
That
seems
Rug versus Jund. Classic matchup. Yes. If any of you guys play Legacy.
Here at 6-0, right?
Yeah, here in the 6-0 bracket, of course, right? All right, Satyr Wayfinder getting in for some damage. Sean, not really the explosive start that he had in previous games. He's got a lot of Thundering Giants, though. He's got one ready to come out the gates.
Yeah, Thundering Giant, a lot better on the play when you curve out than on turn 5 on the draw.
Doesn't look like Ben has a whole lot either.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It looks like Ben also milled a Soul of New Phyrexia, which will definitely be relevant at some point later in the game, but
it
feels kind of bad, too.
It's kind of interesting to see Ben with Forest, Mountain, Island, but no plays. Like, what's in that hand,
Who knows? The best is when you do something like that and then your opponents just like complain about mana screw.
Yeah.
It's like I had 2 Forest Island Mount, but I couldn't play any of my spells.
Yeah.
Just so unlucky.
Yeah, sitting there holding like a Stoke the Flames or something.
Yeah, Stoke the Flames and Crust. Did Ben pass again, or?
Well, he definitely passed.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has something now. I mean, I would assume.
Yeah. Well, now there could be more things he could have. He could have a Jace's Ingenuity.
Aether Spouts.
Although Aether Spouts
Dissipate.
That's my favorite, combo with Jace's Ingenuity. Having like either like a flash creature and the Jace's Ingenuity, or a counterspell and Jace's Ingenuity. So it looks like Sean chooses to just cast a Willforged Golem instead of attacking.
I like that. I mean, you already saw a Titanic Growth, and he's got to have some stuff, and you're putting a 4/4 in play.
Yeah, might as well just grow the board here. Ben doesn't look to have a whole lot in his hand. I'm just really trying to figure out what he's got.
Yeah.
Divination. All right.
Satyr Wayfinder, quickling it back. Divination. This looks like a deck Luis would get behind.
Oh, he would love this deck. Yeah. Definitely one of his draft decks.
Just grinding value all over the place.
Oh, jeez. All right. Ben milling some of his better cards yet again.
Wall of Frost, one of those high toughness cards. It's not good in a lot of matchups, but it's awesome against red green.
Yeah, it's very possible that he boarded that in this matchup. It's great against red green.
Yeah.
Stops like Thundering Giant and a Curd Chieftain activation even. So
Yeah.
but now that he's tapped out, I think Cheon can just safely just send in the clowns.
Yeah. Ben's graveyard is looking a lot better than what Ben has in on the battlefield.
yeah. Just like a 2/2 and a 1/1.
Meanwhile, in the
Sean's
yard-
creatures are just humongous.
In the yard, he's got Curd Chieftain, Wall of Frost, Yisan, and Soul of New Phyrexia.
Yeah. All right, so we have 3 mana. Look, Cheon has a Stab Wound. So Stab Wound the Quickling here, and I'm thinking maybe it's because he wants to play around the Gather Courage, or
Yeah, I don't really like this play. Knowing that Cheon has Gravedigger in hand, I think I would just attack there. If he wants to double block and trade, I'll probably just Digger back my haste guy.
right, and then you can use that Stab Wound as like a plan B
win
or whatever.
condition, Yeah. I mean, I know his reasoning here because we can see a Twin Grove in his hand, and like that's a better guy to buy back.
Yeah.
But like Twin Grove makes another guy anyway. You're already ahead, so it's not like Ben's gonna be able to counter it or something.
Right. Yeah, it feels like just getting in there, having Thunder Giant trade with the 2 guys, Gravedigging it back, and still having a Stab Wound in your hand just
Yeah.
seems far more valuable than having
Yeah,
a
I mean,
Gravedigger.
this play is not bad by
No,
any
no, no.
stretch. I just feel like there's a little bit more value in the trade and Gravedigger line.
All right, Ben with the Aeronaut Tinkerers, followed by an Underground Scavenger. Okay, so this guy could be potentially huge. So we're looking at a 6/6. Okay. So this is the exact situation where you would want that Stab Wound.
Right?
Yeah.
A game that ends up in a stalemate, like now he can Twin Grove and then the Scavenger stopping you from attacking, and then you just
Right.
stab it and start nugging him for 2 a turn.
Exactly. There's not too much in Cheon's hand that will allow him to get through it. Obviously, he can overload the board with creatures to try to get in, but wow.
Well, there you go. That
Well,
gets right through it.
well,
Potentially.
yeah,
And obviously, yeah, you don't necessarily want to just play it here and then have it die on the backswing.
right. But
Probably-
then that would mean the Underground Scavenger is attacking.
Right. You probably play the Twin Grove first, though, and then next turn you probably play Scavenger.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It'll just basically set up a lethal turn here. So yeah, Cheon McLaren, which is bombs galore.
yeah. You know, Cheon, PT champion, obviously a very good player,
But-
but you get the 6-0 and sealed with some help from your bombs.
Yeah. You're 6/0 and sealed without playing like Triplicate Spirits. You have to have some good rares in your deck. Alright. Looks like the judge found a Twin Grove token. Yeah, Ben just can't ever actually attack.
Right. And knowing that the Chandra is going to stop the Scavenger from blocking,
Right.
I mean, Ben could have things. Like, Ben could just have a counter spell for the Chandra.
Right, just playing a Forge Devil, I believe, just as a chumper.
Yeah.
All right, so this turn is just going to be pretty amazing for Cheon, but Ben does have some cards in hand, and he might have to be more concerned about a possible Aether Spouts here.
Right. I don't know what I would do if I were Cheon here. This isn't really a turn where I want to necessarily play Chandra, ping it, and then attack with everything, because you just get blown out so bad by Aether Spouts.
Yeah, it's-
And the Chandra might get countered. So, I mean, if I'm Cheon here, I might chill at the moment. Does he have anything else in hand, just the Gravedigger?
He had a Gravedigger, but I don't think he has anything to get back.
And this is exactly why you wanted the Stab Wound, because this is the kind of spot where
Right.
you don't have to overcommit then. You stab the Scavenger, and then it's on them, you know?
At the same time, his creatures are bigger than everything but the Scavenger. He could choose to just attack with everything, lose a guy, and just play a
And
Gravedigger.
Gravedigger back, yeah. But then he still
But he
runs
still
into
get, but he
Aether
still gets
Spouts.
blown
Yeah,
up by
still
Aether
runs into
Spouts. So
It does look like he has a bunch of spells in hand, so even besides the Scavenger and the Chandra, you may just have some other things to do.
yeah, he could just play a Chandra and just like kill a Forge Devil.
I mean, I know it looks like right now. Oh, and you're saying just sit on defense,
Yeah.
protect your Chandra. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a reasonable play. Because if the Chandra gets countered, then maybe you can make the Alpha you were talking about.
right.
It's not
So
an
it looks
unreasonable play.
like Ben has the counter,
Yeah. So
and now I think Cheon just attacks with the team.
right, if that was his purpose, then I like this play. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, if the attack with the team is not amazing, like
Well, Cheon actually, we haven't seen it before. He actually has a Stoat to Flames in his hand too.
oh, okay.
So now
playing
attacking
the
makes a
four
lot
is
more sense.
Yeah. But he doesn't do it.
Wow.
I mean, what would have happened? The Willforge Golem would get 8, and one of the Twin Groves would get double blocked, and he would take 7 and go to 5. So out of Stoke range, lose 2 guys, kill the 2 small guy, or kill the 2/3,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that attack has to be right, I think.
Right.
Especially with a Stoke in hand. Maybe not, because you don't have guarantee to get the extra 1 through. But you do have Gravedigger.
Yeah, but this is Ben is buying more time to get out of this.
I don't like this play by Cheon. Like, I think if you're not going to attack, if they tap their mana, I don't think I cast Chandra.
Right.
I think I would just add to the board if I could. I don't know his hand. If not, I would just pass there. I mean, your opponent's got to do something at some point, or you can just keep adding to the board, and they can't, because if they tap their mana, then you can Chandra, ping the Scavenger, and Alpha. I believe Cheon even has like a Netcaster or something in hand. He could have added to the board. Not a huge fan of that turn by Cheon.
Yeah, like he could have maybe just cast a Netcaster, try to bait a counter out of it. Probably not going to, but still just add to the board.
Right.
Instead of...
And then if Ben taps his mana, then Cheon can play Chandra.
Yeah.
If Ben, or attack, because Aether Spouts doesn't exist. If Ben doesn't tap his mana, Cheon can just continue adding to the board when he can.
Yeah. All right, so Cheon does draw an Evolving Wilds, which is basically +1/+1 to both of his Twin Groves. Mm-hmm. And casts Netcaster Spider. All right.
And it's the old cast a Netcaster pre-combat, because I have exactly enough for Stoke. So it's like telegraphing the Stoke if Ben is really paying attention.
Yeah. And at this point, obviously not playing around the Aether Spouts. And it also just... All right, so this attack will put Ben to 7. The question is, does Cheon want to kill off just one of like perhaps like a Tinkerer?
Well, no. I mean, I'm going to Stoke the Scavenger, because you're going to be able to Gravedigger back one of your bigger creatures, even maybe force a trade with your Twin Grove and then Gravedigger that back.
Right.
So I mean, I'm a lot more interested in stoking away the 6/6 that's blanking a lot of your team than I am killing a 2/3 just to keep my 4/4 alive.
Right.
All registrations for events will be closing for the day. If you would like to register,
Well, it is somewhat tempting to try to get that 2 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a close play.
Yeah. So Sean McLaren getting the Forest, which effectively pumps up the Colonian Twin Grove,
Which
his,
he doesn't need to do
his
right
token.
now. It doesn't really change anything, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, he might Stoke now. Like I said, I probably wouldn't. But either way, he doesn't need to get the Forest. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Though, I wouldn't get it now because it allows Ben to lightning strike in response. I would get it end of turn or something probably, because why give Ben the opportunity to draw a strike and strike a 3/3 if you crack Evolving Wilds end of his turn?
Right. Although, would you even crack it? Like, he has enough mana here. Wouldn't you just rather take the route of just like hoping to just draw Forest so that you don't get lightning striked? Or is it still worth it to just get a land untapped?
I think that if he has strike, he would have probably already stroked the 3/3, and even if he drew it this turn or something, he could strike the Giant. I mean, that's reasonable what you're saying.
Yeah.
But also, you really want to turn them into 4/4s next turn. Like, whereas them being a 4/4 this turn doesn't matter, next turn it being a 4/4 will matter.
Wow! So there was a Soul of New Phyrexia, which I think everybody forgot about.
Yeah, we all forgot that.
Which leads to a complete blowout here.
Oh, and he made the Stoke play too, so it was even worse.
Exactly. He decided to go for the Scavenge.
Yeah.
Wow. So now Ben has his entire squad. Sean's still not out of it. He still got the Gravedigger.
Right.
But that was a very swingy play right there.
Yeah, that was
That's Soul of New Phyrexia.
Yeah, that was not good. And I mean, we completely forgot about that too.
Yeah, we all just didn't see it.
But let's analyze the game a little bit now, because it was in the yard and we all know that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you make my play of stoking post-combat on the Scavenger, at the very least, he gets to kill one of the area knot, let's say.
Right.
So it's a little better there. I also really didn't like attacking anyway. I want to only attack when he taps his mana because I was afraid of Aether Spouts.
Right.
Obviously, also the soul that was in the yard that everyone but Ben Moore forgot about.
So Ben choosing to cast a Meteorite here. It doesn't kill anything, but it does give his Tinkerers flying.
Yeah, and this is strange because if you're not going to attack, why not just hold the Meteorite?
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's not like the red-green deck's going to have
and he has a Netcaster Spider, so you can't attack.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's actually even worse if you want to attack, because the Netcaster Spider will just eat the Tinkerer.
Right, so, but basically you should be holding the Meteorite, because you might kill something with it, why not?
Yeah. So Cheon plays a Fido Titan, which gets dissipated. So Ben just rocking all the counter spells here. So this was part of his plan, though. Just switching into a more grindy blue-green deck and have a bunch of counter spells for all the bombs, all the haymakers that Cheon has in his deck.
And Wall of Frost. I mean, I don't know what his main was and what he boarded, but yeah, I mean, I like this deck a lot against Cheon's deck.
Yeah, he definitely boarded fairly well, I think. That sold him for Phyrexia play, though. Wow. Now a little research assistant. Yeah, so this game is slowly getting out of reach for Cheon McLaren. There's obviously a lot of different lines during the course of the game. Stab wound obviously would have just been absurd.
Yeah. I mean, for better or for worse, there's a lot of things I would have done differently in this game from both sides.
Right.
More Cheon's, but I definitely wouldn't just meteorite Cheon for no reason. Why not just hold the meteorite?
So, I'm sure Cheon still has a few bombs left here. Still has a Curd Chieftain.
And he's holding down to that Gravedigger, waiting for an opportunity to Gravedigger back the Twin Grove. That's probably the only way he can win this game.
Right. So Ben tapping 7 mana? Oh, this looks like a Feral Invocation. Yeah, there it is. 3 3/3s onto the battlefield. Wow. So now Ben has just a gigantic army, and it's going to be really difficult for Cheon, a red-green deck, to just get through all that toughness on the ground. Perhaps running burn spells is like the only out.
Oh yeah, because Ben's only at 7.
Yeah.
But he already used Stoke. How much burn does he have?
I know. Cheon's Forge Devil taking out the opposing Forge Devil here. This is when the 3-color Dirtle deck just firing on all cylinders. You got the Looter, you're casting 3 3/3s. Definitely a very interesting match, though. What does Ben do? Can he actually attack with anything? Like all of his creatures are smaller than like the 4/4 Twin Grove.
I mean, I guess an alpha or something. Seems like what he's going to do.
Wow. All right. Swing with everything.
I mean, as long as Ben has a post-combat player or two to not like die on a backswing, I'm pretty sure that either Cheon is dead or Cheon has to block and lose a bunch of guys and take a bunch of damage. He might be able to block in a way that the Twin Grove lives.
Yeah, Twin Grove probably blocks one of the 3/3s.
Yeah, like without counting, it's possible that he can chump block the Scavenger, block the Thundering Giant on a 2/2 and the Twin Grove on a 3/3, and then take a lot of damage, live, but still have 7 on the board or 8 on the board. So as long as Ben has some post-combat creatures here, he should be.
This seems like the ideal block. You're losing. You just have to make him have it at this point.
Right.
And this is definitely a block where just basically only thing Cheon loses is a Forge Devil, where Ben is losing 3 creatures.
But he's taking 7 damage.
7 damage.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think this is a bad attack by Ben as long as he doesn't die.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ben has in hand. He's he needs to be able to drop a thing or two there.
Right. He has to. He has to have stuff.
But then again, if he could drop a thing or two, maybe he waits a turn alpha. So it's really
Coral Barrier.
Well, there you go. So waiting a turn the alpha wouldn't be much better, and he has 2 blockers. So I mean I don't know if Ben's going to win this game before or after he gets stacked. I don't know what Ben has left, but that definitely makes his attack make sense.
Although what happens now if Cheon draws a Curd Chieftain and plays a land and gives trample to the 1/1 token that's blocking?
I think Ben was feeling the pressure to attack because Ben's going to get decked first, and he doesn't look like he has many cards left in his deck. I can't see how many exactly.
I don't think he's going to get decked. Did he have any ways to mill himself?
Well, I mean, he sold in Wayfinder twice in Divination and Research Assistant.
Ben. Sorry, not Cheon.
Look at Ben's library. I can't count it, and it's all in stack.
It looks like 1 card.
It looks small. I don't know whether it's 4 cards or 1 card or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know what Ben has left in his deck. Ben does. If Ben knows that he has only lands left or something, then you might as well attack now. No reason to give Cheon more time.
Right.
If Ben knows that he has, 2 big creatures left out of 3 cards, maybe you wait 1 turn before alphaing. it's a close decision.
Right. So what is Cheon's play here? Ben is at 7. Cheon clearly doesn't have a way to pump his guys. So he can't attack.
Right. I think Cheon should be playing to deck Ben. I think that's what he should be thinking now.
So just maybe play a Gravedigger just to block?
Yeah, buy back something, play that too.
Yeah, although this will be painful. He will take one. He does have a land, though, so he can just hardcast the Wolfforged Golem after getting it back.
Yeah. He's just trying to mount the best defense he can.
Yeah.
See if, he can deck Ben or if Ben can beat him. I mean, he can't stop things. He's red-green,
So he gets back a Forge Devil. Putting Cheon at 4.
Wow,
or
and he
3.
gets lightning striked out. And he definitely didn't have to do that. He saw the strike in game 1, and he could have gotten back Wolfforged Golem. He doesn't have any islands
just
out.
played it,
He didn't need to kill the squid.
No, he had a lot of cards left. He had like 5 cards left.
Yeah, sure, and I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
But on board, if Sean McLaren Gravedigger's back, Wolfforged Golem and plays it, he can definitely just double block the Scavenger. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Sean is doing. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of some of the plays Sean made in that game.
This definitely feels like a game that snatching victory from the snatching a defeat from the jaws of victory type situation. Anyways, welcome back. For those of you guys who are just joining in, this is Grand Prix Salt Lake City, round 7, joined by Hall of Famer Ben Stark. We're going to game 3 here. Cheon just lost, so he will be starting up game 3. Sean's deck is a Jund deck featuring heavy hitters such as Kurd Chieftain, Chandra Pyromaster,
Twin Grove,
Colonian Twin Grove, and Splashing Black for Stab Wound and Gravedigger. So a lot of power in that deck.
Sean's deck is awesome. That's exactly what you want to see in a sealed. Forge Devil, Stoke the Flames.
Right. And Ben Moore is playing a blue-red-green deck, which coincidentally is the new house of out of Khan's Shark here, which is House Timur.
I'm not going to lie, I don't know what Timur is.
I'm assuming it's the blue-red-green wedge.
Okay, I mean, I saw some of the previews. I'm well aware of fetch lands, of course.
Right.
I'm excited to see their impact on Modern.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know the names of the new wedges. I'm not going to pretend I do.
I'm just going to guess. I mean, it was Rug, so now it's Timur, so there you go.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Wow, that was a pretty crazy game, though.
Yeah. Even aside from forgetting Soul, because everyone makes mistakes. Obviously, if I'm playing the game, I might be thinking about Soul the whole time, whereas I just forgot it was in the bottom of his graveyard.
Right.
But let's just say I forgot about Soul there. Whatever, everyone makes mistakes. That's not the kind of thing that I'm really like to get on people's case about. But as far as the strategy, you know that there were a lot of cards Ben could have had, and it was much better to attack when he tapped his mana than when he didn't.
Exactly.
And the previous turn when the Chandra got countered, he didn't attack. And then when he has got all his mana up, then Sean does attack.
Yeah.
Sean doesn't seem to value the stab wound there. He just kills a 2/2 with it. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, he just wanted to be really aggressive there, so.
Yeah, I mean, even at the end, I don't know why he felt the need to Gravedigger back Forge Devil and kill a squid. A 1/1 squid, it's not unblockable against you. You don't have any islands.
That's the thing. I thought he was going to attack, but he I guess not. But, I think aside from the Meteorite, though, I think Ben did play that game fairly well.
Oh yeah. I like Ben's play except the Meteorite. I don't know why he felt the need just to put a Meteorite in play to take his opponent from 9 to 7 or something. But aside from the Meteorite, Ben had his back to the wall. Ben used his cards right. He fought really hard there.
Right. It looks like Sean. I see a Necrogen Scudder in his hand, so that's likely a card that he sideboarded in. That's not something that you really want to be splashing most of the time.
Yeah, I agree, because he knows that he's not under any pressure, because Ben's deck is really controlling with these counter spells and the Research Assistant.
And he has a lot of ways to muck up the ground.
Exactly.
And even though he's blue, he really didn't have that many flyers in his deck.
Right, no, the Scudder's a good board in against Ben. I like that.
Yeah. Although he likely just plays the Kurd Chieftain here, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's better than a Scudder right now.
Yeah. There's also a Chandra, but it doesn't do a whole lot right now.
He doesn't even have double red, I don't think. I mean, he might in his hand.
I think he does. He has the Mountain, but just doesn't do a whole lot against Aeronaut Tinker. It's definitely a game where Ben wishes that he was on the play. So he can play the Tinker, and it looks like he had a Statute of Denial in his hand.
Okay, yeah, he does have the Mountain.
Yeah.
So obviously if you're Sean, you're putting Ben on a counter here.
Right, but he also had Titanic Growth.
Right.
So it's like, do you want to attack?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could always play something pre-combat. If it gets countered, then attack. Obviously, you don't really want to run Chandra as bait, but you could run like Necrogen Scudder as bait.
All right. Sean's just like, if you got it, you got it. Yeah. I'm attacking you for 4.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he's going to play something post-combat. I mean, this doesn't seem correct either. I mean, pre-combat, I mean, you play the Scudder. If it gets countered,
Then you can attack
then
safely.
you can attack safely. If it resolves, you probably pass the turn.
Right, but if you attack, and he has a Titanic Growth, there's just not a whole lot you can do.
The 5-up with +2/+2 doesn't stop growth.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. Alright. So Ben gets off the Statute of Denial, chooses to attack because he doesn't really do a good job of attacking, blocking the Cur Chieftain here.
You know, I actually kind of like this. A lot of times we can see both players' hands, but
Right.
here in the booth with this setup, we can see the player on the left hand and not the players on the right
So
hand.
we're playing as Cheon.
So we're playing as Cheon instead of just playing with perfect information. And honestly, you know, I know who Cheon is. I know he won the Pro Tour. I know Top 8 Atlanta, but
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with Sean's game. I don't think I've ever played him. I don't know if I've ever even watched one of his matches before.
Oh, Ben hits the land off the fourth reveal off the Cedar Weapon. Always a good feeling.
I think he'd rather hit a mountain. I don't know if he
Right.
has one or not, but he doesn't have.
He has a Lightning Strike in his hand, so he really wants to see that mount. And then perhaps Sean's glad that a Soul of New Phyrexia was not flipped over.
Yeah. So with the coast clear here, it's kind of interesting.
Do you just Chandra here? Oh, he has a Forge Devil too.
Yeah, I mean, I probably Forge Devil will Forge Golem, I think.
Oh yeah, that has to be the play.
I mean, he has a lot of close options.
Right.
Like, I think this is the right play, but he certainly could have just laid Twin Grove, even though they're only 2/2s, you know, get him out.
Right.
Or he could have played Chandra, because it's not under that much pressure. Ping the Wayfinder, and, you know, it's on 5 loyalty, facing only a 2/3.
Sure.
Which even the Chieftain could block. I probably wouldn't leave it up, but I'm just saying. I like the play he made. A lot of close options.
This just puts just a lot more pressure on the board.
And if you have that much pressure, you assume your opponent's going to have to keep tapping his mana, and then you can play your
Exactly.
Chandra
So
and
then,
Twin
like,
Grove.
he won't be able to keep up the dissipate mana that he had.
Right. So, I mean, I like that play. I like the Forge Devil into Wolforge Golem turn there.
Yeah. So now he gets a fairly safe attack here. Getting in for 4. Ben's already at 12 life.
Yeah.
And now Sean can just put more pressure on the board by just playing a couple of 2/2s for now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and the 2/2s might be a little better than they look because with Chandra's ping ability, they have the ability to take out the 3 toughness creatures.
Yeah.
And all Ben's creatures have 3 toughness.
right. You also can't forget, Chandra also goes 1 to the face as well. So
Sure.
adds just a little bit extra pressure. Ben's deck definitely, it's like the perfect Aether Spout deck.
Oh, yeah. I don't know
He's
if
got
Ben
like
has a spout or
yeah,
not.
but he's just got like all the counter spells, the research assistant, like
Yeah, Instance, Titanic Strength, and Lightning Strike.
yeah.
It's definitely tough to play around an Aether Spout.
Quickling, like just playing blue-green flash.
Standard 2, round 4, Marion European Rosa on the backside of the
Feral Invocation.
Whoa! All right, there you go. 3 3/3s on the battlefield.
This is going
at
to be a
8
tight
life.
one. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one.
Sean really wants a forest here, I think. Oh, he drew what looks like a lightning strike.
Oh, that's probably going to be enough.
Yeah, so he's going to play a Chandra, make one of the 3/3s not able to block, taking Ben to 7.
Yeah.
Then 2 of his creatures get through, so that's 3 damage.
So then
Put him
when
to 4.
If he eats the 2 2/2s, he takes 5 damage and goes to 2 and gets struck out. If he chooses to chump the Willforge and block a 2/2,
Wait, why is he already touching his creatures?
yeah, I don't know.
Wait, what is going on here?
Yeah, he should Chandra pre-combat, I'm pretty sure here. If
Does
he
he
shot,
can Encrust prevents activated abilities?
yeah,
correct?
no, he can't use the Chieftain. And if he Chandra pre-combat, the only way Ben would not die is if one of those the 2 remaining 3/3s chump the Willforge Golem.
Right.
Which means this is just an excellent spot for Sean.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if he just chumps the Willforge and eats a 2/2, he's taking 3 and going to 4 with a Chandra in play that he has to kill, and he's losing a 3/3 and killing his own 3/3. He's killing 1 2/2 and losing 1 3/3.
So I guess with
And
this
being-
attack, Sean's anticipating a double block on the Twin Grove.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he just triple block?
He's using the lightning strike to kill. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
because he blocked the other one too.
This is actually not a terrible play here because Now he can also
Ping the
kill
other one.
all the dudes.
Yeah,
all
this
the
is a
creatures.
pretty good play. I mean,
It goes to 7.
yeah, I mean, that worked out exactly as Cheon wanted, but that was probably the most likely block for Ben.
Yeah.
But also, I think Ben would have just died probably if he played the Chandra pre, because I don't think Ben's going to play around strike, and I don't think he's going to chump Will
You can't
Forge.
really afford to. It's so difficult in that spot.
Right, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming Ben would have probably just blocked both 2-2s and took 5 and went to 2 and then died to strike.
Right.
But basically, Sean's in a really good position either way, and I'm not going to criticize him for that.
Yeah.
Because that worked out really well for him, and I think he would have probably won the game if he made my play, and I think he's probably a lock to win the game if he played it this way. So that's certainly not something to criticize really either way.
So he does play Soul in the Phyrexia, which gives the Tinkerers flying, but I don't think any of these creatures are going to be attacking anytime soon.
And with the Chandra out to stop the Soul from blocking,
Yeah.
I mean,
This is Ben's still in a tight spot here.
yeah. I mean, Ben's going to need something good with that 2-mana open. If he has the Titanic Growth or something, he's not completely out of this by any means.
If he had a Titanic Growth, he could attack with the Twin Grove Titanic Growth and kill the Chandra. Right?
Well, yeah, but I don't think he can afford to kill Chandra, right? Maybe because the Soul
Well,
can block.
Soul can just block anything, and then the 1/3 can just block the Forge Devil or the Twin Grove. So I think that's the play.
Yeah.
If he had it.
Yeah, that might be better. Although you do get the blowout. Like if he has it, he's pretty much in good, in okay shape. He's gonna be really low either way. If he doesn't have it, I think he's pretty much out of it because.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandra's gonna make Soul unable to block. I don't think Ben really has good blocks. I mean, he can't kill the Will Forge. I guess he's not that far out. I guess he has like another turn or two to see what he draws.
Yeah.
This is why I like my play more than Sean's there. I mean, I guess Ben could really like play around the strike if he makes the double block. No, but then you can just strike then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know that Sean's in a good position, but I really think he should have just played the Chandra pre-combat last turn.
And just get in with everything.
Yeah, pinged one of the 3/3s, attack with everything, and then Ben has to like chump the Will Forge and block a 2/2, and then you still have your strike, and he goes to 4. Or Ben could double block the Will Forge, and then you kill him. Or Ben could block both 2/2s and take 5, and then you kill him.
Yeah.
I think it's a little
Killing
bit
the
more
opposition is
favorable.
pretty good. Wow, so Sean draws an invasive species and then replays a Kurd Chieftain. So this is, I'm going to say, Ben's going to need a miracle to
Yeah,
be
well, he
able to
drew
pull
an
this one
island.
off.
I don't think that's a miracle.
Yeah, that's probably not going to get done. Unless it was the 8th land for a Stormtide Leviathan.
That would be sweet. I'm not rooting for Sean or Ben, but that would be sweet if, as an end of this match if Ben just thought a little bit right here and then just tapped 8 and played Stormtide. It wouldn't even be game. Sean would get to start Chandraing, well, I guess once or something.
Yeah, but Ben's got a flyer and
Yeah.
he's chunking him for 10 a turn, so. Yeah, not a lot Ben can do. I think Sean definitely has a more powerful deck, but
Oh, yeah.
Ben definitely made the most out of what he had
Yeah,
available.
Sean's deck is awesome. I mean, if you just look at all these cards,
Yeah.
they're all good. Invasive Species, Netcaster Spider, Forge Devil, like these are the weaker of the cards you saw.
Kurd Chieftain, Chandra, Lightning Strike, Twin Grove, Stab Wound, Gravedigger. Like
Yeah.
all of these cards are almost like, you open a pack in a draft, they're the 3 best cards in the
Yeah,
pack.
I won't be surprised to see Sean make it to 8-1 or 9-0 today. This is
Yeah.
a fantastic deck.
But that Carnivorous Moss Beast. So Ben opting to attack the Chandra, but more out of futility than anything.
Yeah.
All right. It's just not a whole lot Ben can do.
No.
And it looks like Sean McLaren moves on to 7-0, undefeated with a fantastic Jund deck.
Really good deck. Probably the best deck we've seen today.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we are actually going to be moving shortly into another time-shifted match. And for those of you guys who do not know what a time-shifted match is, when we start every single round, we record 3 matches simultaneously. And as soon as the first match is over, we go straight into the next match, straight into the match afterwards. Meaning we will basically have round-the-clock coverage and footage of the Grand Prix.
That's awesome.
So next up is Eric Froelich, and we will be right back, and you will be moving straight into that match.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Luis Scott Vargas here with Ben Stark at Grand Prix Salt Lake City. And you guys just saw a pretty epic match with Sean McLaren. But right now we've got a match with Eric Froelich all lined up and ready to go.
Are you looking to smash your opponents at the next standard event, poison your foes in Pauper, or empty libraries in Eternal formats? No matter what way you prefer to vanquish the foul, you'll find the tools you need at channelfireball.com. We've got great prices on singles, boosters, sealed boxes, sleeves, and anything else you need to take home the win at your next PTQ or at your kitchen table. Don't get lost in a labyrinth of online shopping. Just try channelfireball.com.
Hey everyone, we got Efro and Ian Robertson here, both at 6-0. And looks like Efro's actually, because Efro's actually on the right. And
How does that work? Can Fro sack the generator serve in a response?
so that's actually, Efro's actually on the right, but he could have if it was not summoning sick, but it was summoning sick.
Oh, you have to tap sack it.
Right. Yeah, in Magic, creatures can't use tap abilities the turn they're played.
Oh, all right, cool. You learn something new every day.
Exactly.
We just tuned in. I didn't even know whether it was something came out, though it was turn 2. But yeah, so that's good to know, though, because Forge Devil has to deal to 1. So if those were the only 2 creatures in play, you sack it in response, and then the Devil has to ping itself.
Yep.
Though it couldn't have happened there. We're not saying it could.
And so, yeah, we actually had in Portland, one of Paul's opponents played Forge Devil to an empty board, which did not actually work out all that well.
Yeah, that's one of those mistakes. You're like, wow, what are you targeting here? And he's like, wow. So it looks like Efro is a little mana screwed here in game 1.
Yeah, he's stuck on all mountains. He's got Torch Devil and Forge Devil, actually, or Torch Fiend and Forge Devil going, but it's not going to really do all that much. I mean, as you can see, Ian just played a Scrapyard Mongrel, and that was enough, you know? I mean, that's enough to kind of slow things down.
And I think Fro bluffing here, knowing that Ian would be kind of scared to block, I'm not really sure. No, he has the
Inferno Fist. Yeah, I mean, not a spectacular trade, but worth it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way his hand is, he has no choice basically but to 2-for-1 himself, because he has to hope this game goes long. He can't beat a bunch of creatures while he's mana screwed.
Yeah, and throwing away cards to try to do damage is good, and he also represented Crowd's Favor and Forge Devil enough that Ian was not willing to block the 2-power creature.
Yeah, I didn't think Ian would block the 2-power creature. I actually was thinking, why is he sending Forge Devil when he attacked? And I mean, the Fist makes sense. Kind of a deep play, because if you realize, okay, Fist makes sense now, then maybe you block the Torch Fiend. But I mean, that's going pretty far with it. Certainly further than I realized just at a glance.
And Liliana's going to be kind of a beating here, since even though Efro can't cast the spells in his hand, having to discard them means even if he draws lands, he's still just going to be plenty of cards behind.
Yeah, the Planeswalkers that aren't just amazing, like obviously there are cards like Elspeth that, you know, they just dominate the board. But for the other ones, you know, even stuff like Nissa sometimes, they're really good when your opponent stuttered at all, and then not very good when your opponent came out on curve.
Which I think is fine. I mean, it makes games interesting. It's not, you don't want cards that just crush your opponent. You have cards that lead to interesting play decisions.
Yeah.
So Liliana getting hit down to 3, because Goblin Rabblemaster is a good play when you're short on lands. I mean, it's a card that can end the game very quickly, but Ian's hand looks like a monster. He's got Soul of Chandelar and Cone of Flame.
Yeah.
And I think he's making the right play here. Like, it's so much safer just to Cone. Like, if something goes wrong with Rabblemaster, like, imagine, you know, if Efro just, I guess he can't really have Pillar all that, like, but imagine if he had something, like.
It's very unlikely, and he's going to win almost no matter what, but yeah, Cone the board here for sure. Fro's a mana short of even being able to play a Thundering Giant, so I can't think of anything realistic that Fro could do here to punish that line.
Yeah, so Fro's still stuck on red. Generator Servant, at least if he draws a green and maybe has like a giant green monster, he could just go ahead and just like smash immediately. But Soul of Chandelar plus Liliana are teaming up to make this game pretty hard for Ifro to win.
After Cone of Flame cleared the way.
Yeah. So I'd say Ian's deck looks pretty good here.
If you're ranking all the cards in the set, just roughly speaking, where do we have Soul of Chandelar and Cone of Flame?
Well, I would imagine that. Actually, that's really tough. I don't actually know which one's better. I think Cone is better when you're behind, but Soul is better on any sort of parity board.
Yeah, and they're both like around top 10, right? Cards in the set.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, if you have Hornet Queen and Soul of Theros at 1 and 2, Soul of Chandelar and Cone of Flame are probably somewhere in like the I don't know 4 to 8 range or something.
Yeah,
it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's like Soul of Zendikar. I would say the next best cards are probably Soul of Zendikar, Soul of Chandelar, and Cone of Flame. I might be forgetting something.
So we got to skip ahead here. We've got Ifro, this time with both colors of mana. So Ian does have a 2-drop in Child of Night, but it looks like he also has a Generator Servant, and I think he's going to go with the Servant. I think with the anticipation of trading and then keeping the Child because it's slightly better.
Especially with a Lightning Strike to clear away a blocker. If Ifro doesn't have a lot of creatures, then the Child might get going.
Goblin Rabmaster is pretty nice here. I mean, making a Goblin that doesn't get eaten by the Generator Servant and in anticipation of making more Goblins.
Yeah.
Ian just taking the trade here.
Yeah, and I mean, unless he draws something, I don't know what, that's going to change this, he's just going to strike out that Rabblemaster now, right? You have to.
Yeah, I would imagine that, again, Goblin Rabmaster is the sort of thing where if something goes wrong, it just does not work out very well.
Yeah.
So, Lightning Strike. Pretty clear play on Rabmaster. Ifro got a slight advantage. He ended up with a 1/1 token in play as a 1-for-1 trade here.
And, making him strike your 3-drop, sometimes you have to strike someone's 3-drop, sometimes you don't,
Yeah.
Strike's a pretty powerful card. Certainly better than the average 3-drop creature.
Yeah, it looks like Ifro does not have a 4th land, though. He's got a Belligerent Sliver, which is okay. He's applying a little bit of pressure here, but against a deck as powerful as Ian's, I mean, he can't be too happy about how this is going.
Yeah, this game seems like it's going to come down to the top of Ian's library. Because seeing Ian's hand, we know he has a Child and a Typhoid Rat, so it's not like he's doing nothing. But I don't think he has any of his power cards. But I imagine it's going to be tough for Ifro to win if Ian draws Soul of Chandelar, Liliana, or Cone of Flame very, very soon. But if not, I think Ian's hand is basically all land. I can't see it perfectly.
So it looks like Ian is able to stabilize here. I mean, he's getting hit for 2 with the Belligerent Sliver because there's just no real way to double block here. I mean, that's just horrendous for him.
Right.
But he's still at 16 life, and Ifro's just not doing anything. Ifro's last turn was just go.
Yeah. But Mana Screw usually beats Mana Flood because you draw out of it sooner or later. So, I mean, I think if Ian's going to win, I think Ian's hand is all land, just 4 swamps. So if Ian's going to win this game, he needs to do something that really punishes Ifro before Fro finds those lands to cast the rest of his hand. So I think it's going to come down to the top of Ian's library.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot going on here, and Mana Screw actually does beat Mana Flood in games like this. If Ifro drew his 4th land here, Ian's got 3 lands in hand. If Ifro has a steady stream of spells from here on out, the game could turn very quickly.
Right, like Ian needs to cast Soul while Fro is behind, or at least Liliana, or maybe Cone. He needs to do something big while Fro is behind.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Fro's going to draw out of this.
Luckily for Ian, we know that he's got a bunch of big spells in his deck.
Yeah,
3, actually.
I haven't even seen his deck list, just seeing the last game.
Yeah. So Fro has actually a number of options. He plays Shaman of Spring. He could have played Juggernaut, but that just trades for Typhoid Rats.
Yeah.
I think playing Shaman makes the most sense. Definitely more than Paragon.
Oh,
yeah. Is that a good turn 6 draw?
Did he draw Soul?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Right on time.
Yeah, Soul of Chandelar is going to end the game. And the funny thing is, Ifro probably thinks that that was Ian's hand. He doesn't actually know that it came off the deck on turn 6.
Yeah, he'll find out, though. Because even if he doesn't watch this match, somebody will tell him. Probably us.
Yeah, I mean, the only satisfaction you get is just letting Ifro know exactly how unlucky he got.
Yeah, because Ifro is notorious for getting very unlucky a lot of the time.
So Ifro actually just convoked out a Siege Worm there. It's hiding under his name, but Siege Worm doesn't really stand up to Soul of Chandelar all that well. A Stab Wound is a decent addition too. Ian's deck looks like a monster. I would say he's got a pretty good shot of 9-0ing, given the cards we've seen.
Yeah, McLaren looked like he had the best deck we had seen so far, and Ian is competing very hard with him here. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Ian and Cheon in round 9.
Yeah, having the it is pretty fun watching two insane decks play against each other.
Yeah. Ian does have to decide if he's going to go aggro or not. I mean, I know it's like, okay, do I attack or block with my broken Mythic Rare? But he could deafen it, or he could definitely hold it back to block since it has First Strike. It's very hard for Ifro to take it out.
Yeah, at this point, Ian, I mean, he's going to attack. Ifro can't even block with Siege Worm. He can chump, and then Ian can start, dealing lightning bolting and.
But Ian doesn't have any great answer to Siege Worm now on tapped or anything like that. If
Yeah.
Ifro has a pump spell, a couple tricks, whatever, I mean, it's not impossible that Ifro can 20 Ian in 2 turns here. Let's say before Ian can 20 Ifro. I mean, I definitely would rather be in Ian's seat than Ifro's, but Ifro's got a handful of spells,
Yeah, and I think that if Ifro does something like, say, have Crowd's Favor to trample over the rat, make it Siege Worm survive, deal 5, and then is able to just attack for a bunch. I mean, but the thing is, Ian can just then stop attacking with Soul, which I guess opens him up to a different pump spell.
Right.
It is tough.
No, I mean, Ifro's not in a good position here, obviously, because Soul of Chandelier is an amazing card. I do feel like the attack kind of opens the door a little bit more, but I still think it takes a combination for Ifro to win this game.
Judge Tristan Jones Green, please come see us inside on stage. Tristan Jones Green, please come inside on stage.
Ifro kind of deep in the tank. He's got Inferno Fist here, so he can actually attack with Siege Worm and then Inferno Fist the rat after blocks.
And Ian has that 3 damage to use. So, I mean, Ian has some choices, right? Like, if he blocks Siege Worm with Childonite and Typhoid Rats on Shaman of Spring, post-combat, he could deal the 5 to Siege Worm, and there would be no good targets for the 2 damage from the Fist.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, you got to force him to use the Fist, probably.
I mean, there are some potential blowouts, but not that bad, because you're doing the pump, you're doing the damage post-combat anyway, so Titanic, I mean, it's going to be huge because the Siege Worm lives, but it's not like a huge blowout, so I'm pretty sure that's my block here. Child on Siege Worm and Typhoid Rats on Shaman of Spring. I don't know for sure if that's right. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it forces... Well,
if Fro then fists the child, he has to have like 2 more blockers, because then you can just deal the 3 damage to his blocker, on tap and do the 3 damage to his blocker and attack with the soul, right?
Yeah, that's still...
It's not 14.
That's still not 14.
Well, with the stab wound, is he 1 mana short, or is it... No, he can cast the stab wound and deal it, and then that is 14.
But doing this, you at least gain the 2 off the child if the Typhoid Rat gets Inferno Fisted here.
Yeah, but you don't kill Siege Worm here. My way, you kill the Siege Worm unless he uses the Fist on the child.
But then he just uses the Fist on the child, and...
I mean, it's roughly the same amount of damage. You lose the same creatures, but you give yourself the option to post-combat kill Siege Worm, so it seems almost strictly better.
Well, if he put child and he uses that, I guess you end up with you end up not killing Belligerent Sliver, right? Is the difference?
Yeah, you don't kill Belligerent Sliver there, but you gain the ability to kill the on-tap blockers and then kill them by killing the other on-tap blocker and stab wounding Siege Worm.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you kill Siege Worm, which is way better. So, like, I think that's better. I mean, there's up and down to it. I'm not saying either of these plays is like strictly better.
I think if you're Ian, you just go for it here. I mean, you just go ahead and Searing Blaze the Goblin token and then attack for 6 and then stab one to Siege Worm.
Because
also, nothing can really go wrong.
No, exactly. If he has something to make it live, like Titanic Growth that doesn't own you, if he Ranger's Guiles when you stab one, you're not dead. It's just a 5/5 and you're 11. I definitely agree with that. And he does, and he kills Ephraim. I mean, obviously, like, I'm having like an interesting discussion about a close block. When one way you're 98% to win, and one way you're not that high. I mean, Fro could have had, knowing Fro's hand, you're a lock to win.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, but Magic games are won and lost based on these margins, and sometimes you're going to have this game where it's actually really close.
Right. Sometimes Fro has, Lightning Strike, Titanic Strength in hand there, Titanic Growth, and then it's like really close. Which play you make does matter.
Yeah. So even when it looks like you're winning, you should think about your plays. All right, well, that was a beating of a match, a very stark contrast to the first match that you guys saw. But we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with the round 8 shortly. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grand Prix Salt Lake City. I'm Luis Vargas here with Paul Cheon. Got some nice feature matches lined up for you this round. And the players are shuffling, so we got a couple minutes, but we'll be down to watch Nathan Holliday versus Brian Spiker in just a few minutes.
It seems just like every time I look at the standings for Grand Prix, Nathan Holliday has just been crushing it recently.
Yeah.
He's just always at the top of standings. Wouldn't be surprised if he just top 8'd another GP here.
His life's just one long holiday.
Oh man,
He does play very well. I
Yeah.
remember covering him a lot in Phoenix. Phoenix actually top 8'd, actually in the finals, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember watching him throughout the tournament because at one point he just had an insane record. We covered him like 5 matches in a row, and he just played really, really well.
Yeah, I've definitely played against him a couple times, and he's just a very tight technical player. He doesn't
Yeah.
make a lot of mistakes, and he is also very mindful of whatever could be played against him, so he
Yeah.
plays around a lot of cards.
Yeah, he's actually kind of a CFP regular, right? He comes into the store and whatnot.
Well, he used to, and then I think now he plays a lot of Magic Online.
Well,
Which is a lot of the like I said, he's part of that new like San Jose group of the young kids. Him, Party, and Jacob Wilson.
Yeah.
They're all like having a lot of success, and all of those guys, they used to play at the store. Now they've been playing a ton of Magic Online.
I mean, that's kind of how we transitioned, from
Exactly.
playing in PTQs to playing on the Pro Tour, was concentrating on online play.
right, and Reed Duke as
Yeah,
well.
same. Reed
so,
is, Owen, Brad Nelson. Like, there's a lot of people who played a lot online, and they have the results to show for it.
So for those of you guys who want to take it to the next level, Magic Online, definitely an excellent tool for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did take a look at Nathan Holliday's deck. Wow, he's got some rares. Blue-white,
Well, everyone has rares. They have at least 6.
true statement. But blue-white.
Do we have to do a sealed primer again? Because I remember explaining to you about
Thank you
sealed.
for explaining to me how a sealed deck works. Now I think, now that you've enlightened me, I know how it works.
So what about Nathan Holliday's deck?
It's he had Jace. God, I can't even think anymore.
Jace Living Guild Pact. The card's actually not as insane as most other Jaces, but when you have like a board presence and you can bounce their biggest creature, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but it was like Jace, Triplicate Spirits, a nice curve, and also, of course, the best rare in the format, Soul of Theros.
Yeah, I mean, Hornet Queen I think is competitive with that, but they're both insane. Hornet Queen I think wins you games you're losing better, but Soul of Theros is more crushing because you can never race it.
Soul of Theros was so good that I remember I was drafting once, and I was like, I don't know, like a green-black deck, but
Yeah.
mostly black. Pack 3, I opened Soul of Theros. I just take it,
Yeah.
and I played like a Razorfoot Griffin and a Soul of Theros. Every time I played, I just won the game.
Yeah, the card's
It's just-
insane.
It's ridiculous.
If they don't kill it, they can't win. And if they do kill it, you still get a turn of +2/+2 Vigilance.
And Lifelink, which is huge.
First Strike and Lifelink. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
much better.
It is.
It itself
actually
has
absurd.
Vigilance.
They could have taken one of those qualifiers off, and it would still be very, very good.
Yes, I believe that is true. I mean, the lifelink is the biggest part because it means you can't actually race. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the other cards, you can actually race if you have like the right tempo draw.
Yeah.
The fact that their whole team is, wins in combat and gains them 12 life or 14 life is insane.
It's even one of those cards. Yeah, if you can just untap and activate it once, that's pretty much the game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a lot of case for a lot of the other.
I've
ones.
never played with Soul of Theros. I'm just not lucky enough to have access to cards like that.
Yeah, that's probably a lie. You've probably played it many times. You've also had decks, which I saw in one of your videos, where you had both Soul of Zendikar and
Soul of Innistrad.
Soul of Innistrad. So.
Yeah, so what happened was I was drafting the black green dredge deck, and I ended up just opening the black soul and the green soul, and I'd already decided I wanted to draft dredge.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, this archetype seems pretty sweet. Let's see what happens. Open green soul, open black soul.
Yeah,
So,
it was pretty good.
some people are just blessed with all the luck.
Yeah, that'd be Paul.
Oh, right, of course, yes.
So we'll be going down in just a second here. They're just finishing up shuffling, and we'll be seeing them in. I believe that they're both ready, and they're also 7-0. So we'll take a look.
All right, let's go. All right, so it looks like they've already resolved mulligans. Nathan leading off the island.
This is their first sealed winner box number 10. Once again, Steve Reed and Oscar Jones. Sealed winner box.
Sungrace Pegasus has been doing a lot of work. It's a workhorse.
I've been really just like impressed with that card. When I first saw it, I just thought it was okay, and just after seeing it and play a bunch of times,
Yeah, it overperforms. Like, it's a 1/2 flyer. It doesn't look that good, but lifelink on a 1/2 flyer, the fact that it convokes out all the good cards in the format, it is actually very relevant.
and there's still like the little like small synergies. Like you play that, and then turn 3 like a Johnny's Primate. That's like awesome as well.
Yeah, and Midnight Guard here, stopping the Generator Servant that Brian has, but Generator Servant often leads to bigger and better things.
Exactly.
Like
or
more
just like more generator servers.
I hope Brian has an 8-drop on turn 4.
What could he play?
I guess he can't even play Stormtide Leviathan.
He
doesn't
could
have
play
enough blue.
he could play a Siege Dragon, which is not even.
Nah, Siege Dragon wouldn't be bad. It
If
wouldn't
he
be
had like
insane.
2 islands and played another island, he could play a Stormtide Leviathan.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That would be awesome.
What if he plays Urborg and plays some sick black 8-drop?
There is none.
Yeah.
Hypnox is like 11?
Yeah.
All right. So Holiday stalled on 3 lands.
Yeah, he got to smash with the Midnight Guard and then untap it with the Research Assistant, but still not, not the best turn 4 play. A Research Assistant you can't even activate. It's not really what he's looking for.
Yeah. That's the thing. I looked through a lot of his deck. These are just kind of like just a random cards in his deck.
There we are.
Oh my god. You would have loved the last deck that we were featuring. It was like 3 colors with like divinations, 2 counter spells, and a lot of different tricks.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. It looks like I have to assume that Brian drew the island on turn 4 because he went mountain, mountain, mountain. So I think that he ended up drawing the blue and then divination, of course, hitting potentially more islands, and he's going to end up with a decent amount of spells to play while Nathan's stuck on land. So even though Nathan is kind of the aggressor here and is going to have a pretty decent life total advantage, I think Brian's in pretty decent shape.
Like, not a whole lot's happened so far, though. I mean, Brian did draw the island, so ideally, now that he has a ton of mana, he can play something nice here.
Yeah.
Although once Nathan draws out of it too, I'm sure he's got a lot of strong plays as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be disappointed if Generator Servant doesn't generate something like really good.
What would you accept here?
I actually lost to Cuneo in the Pro Tour, where he went turn 2 Generator Servant, turn 3 2-drop Illusory Angel off Generator Servant twice. Like, it was just a beating. I was like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best things you can do. All right, so Nathan bucking up the ground here.
Yeah, I mean, the second Research Assistant not as good as the first, obviously. But I
still just like it a lot in this format. Just 1/3s are really good.
It's the worst looter in terms of cost 4 to activate, but the fact that it's a 1/3 for 2 actually does a lot of what blue already wants.
That's the thing. When I first looked at this card, I'm like, God, this is just so much worse than looter. But it's actually pretty great because, like I said, there's a lot of like 1 toughness creatures, and there's a lot of just like 2 2s and 2 1s in the format.
So Nathan hit his 4th land, didn't play anything. I guess he maybe wants to use Research Assistant. Maybe doesn't have a great 4-drop. I mean, Ryan's nominally ahead. He has a lot more lands in play and his cast divination, but his board doesn't do anything. It's 3 2-1s against a bunch of 1/3s and 2/3s.
Yeah.
So it's possible that Nathan's actually fine here. Depends on, obviously depends on what Brian has. He has the mana to cast spells, but it's not clear that he has good spells to cast.
There's zero pressure on Nathan so far. He's even holding an Encrust in case Brian does generate something pretty awesome here. And given that Nathan's already missed a land drop, he's just probably looking to just hit 5 and 6, lands 5 and 6. He did have Capisho Kite Fins?
Capisho Kite Fins, yeah, it's in his hand, which is good in an aggressive blue-white deck.
Right. It's probably just the top end of his curve as well, so he'll be happy with it. All right, so time to generate.
It looks like Generator Servant has gone live. He did have the Storm Tide